Veteran wide receiver Deshaun Jackson visiting the Ravens today. Adam Schefter reporting that. He played half of last season for the Rams and the other half for Las Vegas. The Ravens gave up a 10-point fourth-quarter lead to the Giants Sunday that was due, in part, to 2 turnovers from Lamar Jackson. Baltimore now 3-3, sitting at 500 on the season. Shannon, what is going on with Lamar?
Well, he's struggling late in ball games. That situation, the interception that we just showed, Skip, it was already a bad situation. The center snapped the ball bad, and Lamar exacerbated the situation by turning it over. Live to see another day. Punt the ball, make them drive the field. Skip, his defense has given up a league-high 9 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. They could easily, think about it, a 21-point lead to the Dolphins, a 17-point lead they blew against Buffalo.
They did.
And a 10-point lead against the Giants. All within blew those. So they could easily be undefeated. Lamar, 4 of his 6 interceptions have happened in the fourth quarter. Only Jameis Winston has more fourth-quarter interceptions this season. 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter against the Giants, 2 against the Bills, both losses. He's got to play better. He needs to play in the fourth quarter like he does the first 3 quarters. And their defense, even though Lamar is playing bad, he can't give you a 21-point lead. He can't give you a 17-point lead. You got too many Pro Bowls over there. Marlon Humphrey, you got Pete over there. Guys, you got to come through. Calais, you got to come through. You got to make it happen.
Agreed.
You can't blow these leads. Once they settle in, once Lamar settles down, someday maybe it's a little bit more pressure. Maybe he starts to think too much about it. Now, I like this addition. D-Jack can still run.
He can.
Don't let his age fool you, 35. He still can get down the field in a hurry.
He can.
We saw it with the Raiders. We saw early what was that game too against Tampa. He can still run.
He ran all the way up the tunnel, chased by his coach.
Yeah. They don't have the deep threat since they lost Hollywood Brown. So he would be an addition. But Skip, there's no reason. Lamar's going to have to play better in the fourth quarter, and his defense is going to have to play better in the fourth quarter. But I like, if they can get D-Jack, I like the deep threat that he could bring.
Hey, I've had my differences with D-Jack. He is as dangerous a deep threat as I've seen with my own 2 eyes since the great Bob Hayes revolutionized pro football for my Dallas Cowboys, because he can just flat out fly past people.
Remember, Skip, he was before Tyreek. He was it.
I'm talking about deep threats. Tyreek is run after catch threat, but I'm talking about running by people and the ability to adjust on the fly to deep balls. It's an underrated art form to be able to track a football that's over your head. You know this. It's just hard to find it and then gather yourself and stay in stride and catch it in stride. He is something. I think he will help a little bit. But there's much deeper problem here. I am seeing in Lamar 2019 Dak Prescott. Dak had 3 sensational outings to start the year, and they jerked the contractual rug right out from under Jerry Jones, and everybody started saying, Dak is betting on himself. Go, Dak, go. Put that evil billionaire under the carpet here. Negotiate him to death here. Okay, so what started to happen? Well, all of a sudden, Dak starts to press, and it got worse, and all those road games that we talk about and the ones at the Jets and at Chicago and, Lord have mercy, at New England, and then finally at Philadelphia. It just got worse and worse and worse, betting on himself. Then he got hurt the next year, and they kind of toughed it out and rode out the storm. And finally, Jerry said, I got no other option B. I got to cave in and pay you. And then he told him at the press conference, I overpaid you. You got me. Okay, but the point is, Dak was crumbling under the pressure to bet on himself because it's not happy. It's not a comfortable.
Right.
You're not in any comfort zone. Lamar it's like him against the world right now, trying to bet on himself without an agent as a buffer.
Yeah, his mom is handling it with some help from the NFLPA.
Yeah.
But Skip, he just has to play better in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
He has to play better. If he plays like he does the first 3 quarters, he's sensational.
Yeah.
He's sensational for 3 quarters, Skip. And for whatever reason, it just falls apart. And as he's falling apart, his defense is crumbling right behind him.
That's even worse.
We'll see what the future holds. I got to jump in, guys. We got to leave some time to talk about LeBron and the possibility that the Lakers ruin the Warriors' ring ceremony tonight. That's coming up. Will receive medical clearance this week for his thumb injury that he suffered back in week 1. Of course, it required surgery. The Cowboys managed to go 4-1 without Dak in the lineup. The quarterback now says he plans to make his return versus the Lions this Sunday. Shannon, before Skip jumps in here, What will the Cowboys' regular season record be?
Skip, I could really see them being 12-5, 13-4. I think, and I've said this, Dak Prescott is an upgrade over Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush did what he was supposed to do. He kept the ship afloat, didn't put them in harm's way. He only lost one game, and Dak is back now. But everyone knows Cooper Rush limitations, and we saw them on full display. It's the defense, though, is what's going to keep them in the ballgame, Skip. They've given up just 20 points once in 6 games this season. Number 3 scoring defense, number 1 in sacks, number 1 in pressures. And they have an opportunity when you look at the next 3 games, Skip, home versus the Lions, home versus the Bears, at Green Bay. And Green Bay doesn't look as daunting as it did at the start of the season. So that's 3 wins right there. And then the 5 games at home. They get the Giants at home, they get the Colts at home, they get the Texans at home, on the road against Jacksonville, on the road at Jacksonville, on the road at Washington. Let's go to the 8 winnable games. So what are they now? They lost 2 games? Yeah, they could easily be third. I would say, you know what? High end, I'm gonna say 13-4. Low end, 12-5. But I'm more in line to say 13-4. I think that'll be their record. But I don't know if 13-4 is enough to catch Philadelphia for the division and get the number 1 seed overall.
So the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp just predicted that my Cowboys would go 9-2 the rest of the way to get to 13-4.
I can see that very happening with that defense. The way that defense is playing, and if you saw the way they played, Skip, that third quarter, the way they really shut down the Eagles, and it took the Eagles like, okay, we got to regroup, or we're about to let this thing slip away. As well as we played the first half, we're about to let this thing slip away, and then Jalen Hurts put a drive together to close the door. But that defense, your defense is legit. I'm going to give you credit. Your defense is legit. Offense needs.
I cannot tell you how much I hope you are right about them finishing 13-4. I predicted 12-5, and I will stick with what I predicted in the preseason because it's a little more reasonable to me than your 13-4, though I will take it and I will run with it. It will not win the East because it will not be enough to catch those big green machine, high-flying Eagles.
I don't know, Skip. Y'all might win out.
No. Or you win out?
Y'all.
Okay, we got to play your guy Kirk Cousins up there in Minnesota.
Oh, Kirk Cousins go get y'all, though. Kirk Cousins.
That's what I said. Okay. So here's my point. I am so happy because I now have a combination back at quarterback between Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, with a little Brady IQ thrown in. That's what I have.
No, you don't.
And I'm so thankful. Thank you, God, for dropping Dak Prescott right back into our laps, right on schedule at 4-2 with 2 gimmies at home against the Lions and the Bears. Oh, my. It's perfect because I now have a top 5 quarterback.
No, you don't. Stop saying that.
That's all I heard. No, that's all. He turned into that in the 5 weeks that he couldn't play.
Skip, you don't need top 5. Your defense is top 5. You just need a guy run the ball like you did the second half.